concerning. I saw there was a few videos recently concerning this whole question that's going to, I guess, come up now in November as to whether Kiryas Joel and a few Haglilois, I guess, the surrounding area, will be seceding from the town of Monroe. The legislature gave the right to the people to make the people of Monroe basically to vote on this, to have a referendum on this issue, which I think is always good to give people a vote and the opportunity to vote things in a referendum manner. I was very upset when in New York, the redefinition of marriage was done by fiat through the legislature and not by referendum, and so too how on the national level it was done at all on the national level, because generally issues of marriage have always been state issues and not national issues. Although there have been, I guess, the whole issue with polygamy in Utah kind of nationalized the marriage question to a certain extent, but that was before the statehood of Utah. It's important that people be aware of history, be aware of the Constitution, be familiar with what the Constitution actually says, be familiar with how court cases developed through history, where they came from. Now, I see certain people are upset, claiming that this will essentially, this new town they're thinking of calling Palm Tree. Some people are upset by the name. I looked up the scientific name of the date palm, and the genus was actually Phoenix. I think that's taken already. There is a Phoenicia, New York. I don't know if there's a Phoenix, New York, but nonetheless, I don't know if that's the name they want to give, although actually it would be quite a beautiful name. First of all, it would be, using that Teitelbaum name, the palm tree name, in a more poetic way. And to a certain extent, it might be something to consider. And also, it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes, after all of the destruction that the Jewish people have gone through, including from secular Jews trying to destroy Judaism, perhaps, and here it's a phoenix rising out of the ashes of both the Holocaust and the Zionist movement and all the other heretical movements. There's a legend of the phoenix in Jewish tradition as well. It's generally called the Ziv. Ziv is also a nice name. Means glory or beauty. But that being stated, a lot of people are saying, well, this formation of a new town would violate the Constitution, and is that, how can we allow that to happen? Now, first of all, if the town is a violation of the Constitution, so is the village, essentially. Even though a village is still part of a town, well, a town is part of a county, and the county is part of a state, and so forth. So it's not really a major difference between, and there are those who say that the existence of the village is problematic, but the fact of the matter is it isn't, at least from an originalist standpoint of the Constitution. We know that the Constitution, when the First Amendment was ratified, it was specifically discussing the Establishment Clause specifically applied only to the federal government and not to state and local governments. Meaning the states and local governments did not provide religious freedom and did not provide did not prohibit having an official state religion. There were states that had official religions at the time when and for many years later, because the Constitution of the United States is specifically for the federal government. It has nothing whatsoever to do with state or local governments. Now, that changed throughout history because the Supreme Court, really by fiat, made that. And, alright, so now that's essentially the law of the land, even though we might be uncomfortable with that fact, and it's actually wrong. It is what it is. We can't really change that. So, how do we, but that being said, just because a particular municipality has a majority of a particular ethnicity or religion, it doesn't really make it that in no way violates this issue. There are plenty of places throughout the country that have majorities of particular religion and so forth. It's a common thing. Like I mentioned, the Mormons in Utah and so forth, even though, the demographic has changed, but when it was founded, it was in a particular way. And, that's just how things are. That's a normal thing. So I don't know what else to say. But we could discuss more of this later. I gotta go. To me, I don't care one way or the other, as long as people get to vote and democracy is followed. I can't park here? Okay. All right. Should I park behind the? All right. Okay. All right. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk later. Take care.